In this lecture, we are going to start from scratch with no requirement and create different animations using Mani. So we create text, we create different shapes like rectangle and circle. We understand how to move them, how to rotate different shapes and scale them up and down. We also do this from using some other shapes and creating lines and arrows and scaling them down and up, moving them differently, changing the colors, creating tables, and also creating graphs and plotting them and changing and animating them by changing frequency and other characteristics. So as summary, at the end of this lecture, you'll be able to create these different things like tables, graphs, and other things. So let's start. The first thing that we would need to do is to install the Manim. Now, some of you might have already installed Manim and Python and also Visual Studio. So for those of you, you could skip the next 2 minutes, which might be the most boring part of this lecture, which is about installing the Manim, as I said. I also have created other lectures, so in case you want to, as an example, I have something like install the Manim in 40 seconds, but I think it's better that since we said we want to start from scratch, we do everything in this one single lecture. So you'll be able to create all of these things with no requirements to go in other videos. So let's begin and first install both Manim and also the Visual Studio, this code editor. As I said, if you feel like it, you could skip this part. In fact, I would urge you to just skip this part. First, look at it one time so fast to know what you would learn in this lecture and then come back in case you haven't installed it, you would install it. So right now installing Manim is so easy. In fact, it only includes the execution of 4 commands. Let's say where you could find this command. So you hit enter to install Manim on Windows. The first site that it brings up would be the Manim community. Let's wait, actually for some reason it's not bringing it up. So after it would bring it up, you go to Chocolatey, which is a package manager, and you click on that link. In the resulting web page, you would need to copy paste 2 commands. So you just copy the set execution policy all signed, right click, copy, you search for PowerShell, you hit run as administrator, and right click to paste it, hit enter, say bye, hit enter again, and the execution of the first command is completed. You go to this one, this link, left click to say copy, go to your PowerShell again, right click, hit enter, and you wait for some time so that this command would also be executed. Now it tells me that it has already been installed, so we don't need to do anything. But for you, as I said, the installation would happen. So you go to the Manim community, in here, you click on this link, copy to clipboard for installing Manim. You go to your PowerShell, you right click, you hit enter, and after some time, it would be installed. Again, it's telling me that it is already installed as well. Now, right now, Manim would be installed. We could also try to install the LaTeX in case we need it. As I said, we wouldn't be needing it in this lecture, but you could just say copy paste this line. Let me actually bring it. So copy. Again, you go to here, you hit enter one more time, and again, it has already been installed. So by now, Manim would be installed on your system. One more thing that you would need to do is to install Visual Studio as a code editor. Again, if you have it, you don't need to install it, but I say Visual Studio Code, which is also free. So you go to this website, the code Visual Studio. In the resulting, you would click on the links for the Windows. So let me find actually the downloads. I think it's here. And it would be downloaded, and you just say next, 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 and it would be installed. Nothing specific actually about this. So let me stop it since I've already installed it. So after you install it, you open the Visual Studio, then you go in these extensions. You left click, you need to install 3 things. One of them is Python, the other is Pylance, and the other is Manim SiteView. So if you don't already have them, you just search here Python, and well, after some time, in here I've already installed it. So if you haven't it, you just say install and it would be installing. You already also need to install Pylance and Manim Side View. So you do the same thing for the Pylance. I already installed it. You would have a blue button in here. You click on it, it would be installed. And lastly, Manim Side View, which is so important for our case because you would want to see our result in here in the right side rather than just having the video in another folder and going and finding it. It would be much faster in this way. So again, I've already installing it, but if you don't have it, you click on install the same thing, and all the things that we would need would be installed. So now that we have everything, let's start from the beginning now that we have installed everything that we need. So I have called a file manimlecture.py. You press Ctrl N, you would have a file. You just say Ctrl S and you type anything that you want. As an example, I say manim lecture, let's say 2 and .py, and it would open a new file. So I already have manim lecture 1.py. Let me just start writing the code to create all the different animations that you need. Such a course, such a lecture would be so useful for me a couple of years or months before, because in that case, I would start from the scratch, understand how to create and animating different things, so I could just resume from there on myself. So the first thing that you would need to do is to say from manim import everything, and then we create a class. The name of the class could be everything. These are just some bookkeeping that you need to do in order to start animating things. So I want to call it, let's call it my manim lecture. I call it the class. Then in here you type scene exactly like this, the capital S, the rest would be the lowercase, colon, and then you say def construct, and then we just say self and colon. Everything should be written exactly under this construct and would be rendered as a video that you would see. So right now this is not part of the anything. This is part of the animation that I showed you before. So your Visual Studio would actually be like this. The first thing that you would need to do is to be able to write text. In fact, the first thing in animation in general, is to be able to create different text. So first you want to create a string. So I call it the text that you would want to write. I say my string and I say Messi is the goal. So I'm such a big fan of Lionel Messi. So then we create a variable. The name of the variable could be anything. If you have worked with Python, you already know this. But if you haven't, the my string is a variable name that I just made up. It could be anything else. It could be my, just s, or anything that you want, just like A1. Then I want to create a text. So this is some class, or I say some function that has been already created in Manim. So I pass it my string in here, which means I'm telling the Manim that I want to write Messi is the GOAT on the screen, but I haven't added it to the screen. In order to showing it on the screen, I would say self.play and then write. In this case, we could show everything on our screen, and I pass it the variable that I created the text on. So now I press Ctrl S and I just say Manim lecture. If nothing is done, you need to press on this button, which is for the Manim side view. So again, Manim lecture, and it would be just something has to be executed, so it will be rendered. Now you see it says Messi is the GOAT. Now I want to do two things. One of them is so that Messi is the GOAT is written slower, meaning the animation would be a bit, the text, as I said, would be written a bit slower rather than just this fast. So in here, I pass an argument called runtime, which is something so useful. So I say runtime 2, which means I want the Messi is the GOAT to be written in 2 seconds. Again, you would wait to so that this is completed. You could just press the forward if you get bored. So in here, you see Messi is the GOAT would be written in 2 seconds. But also, if you pay attention, the moment the GOAT is written, it would go at the first, meaning the video would end. I want the video to be a bit longer, so I want it to wait for some more time. So I say self.wait, and I add 2 seconds, which means after the Messi is the GOAT is written, I would want to wait for 2 seconds as well. So it says Messi is the GOAT, and as you see, it waits for 2 seconds and then the video would end. So right now you might guess that the length of the video would actually be 4 seconds. 2 seconds for the text to be written, 2 seconds after it is written. But one thing that I actually forgot to mention, and in the animation, if you pay attention, the first thing was in here, the first thing you pay attention was these squares, that how they are made. In fact, the reason that I want to show it to you is to tell you how the Manim screen is divided into different units, because we would need the most important thing in Manim, in any animation, is moving the objects or animating them, moving the objects one by one in different places in the screen. So if you want to categorize any animation, you might say text, shapes, tables, graphs, and moving them. This is all there is to the animation. From then on, it's just your ideas, how you would learn to implement them. It's just your own imagination. So to understand how the screen is divided, I first want to show you what the units of Manim is. So let me just first comment these lines out by pressing Control and backslash. I actually leave the weight in here. So I say self dot play and then write, and then I say number plane. When I say number plane, that squares that you saw would be created. Again, Control S so that the video would be rendered. And let's wait. As I say, you don't need to wait for me. So you see the squares are created. If you look at the number of squares, you would have 14 squares horizontally and 8 squares vertically, from -7 to 0 and from 0 to 7, which means 14 squares you would have horizontally, and -4 to 0 and 0 to 4, or just 8 squares vertically. We call this 14 by 8 as Manim units. So when I tell you I want to move something 1 unit to the right, it means it would be moved as much as 1 unit to right. Now that you understand what Manim units are, what we mean by that, I want to comment this line, actually uncomment them by pressing the same thing, and I only comment this line. You see, whenever I want to create an animation, I would always write the right number plane as my first command, so I would know where I am and what I want to do, and at the end I would just comment this line so that everything would be in the blank. So right now we only have a blank screen and or text, Messi is the GOAT, written on our screen. After that, what we would want to do is to create different scenarios, different shapes. The first one would be a rectangle. A rectangle like what we saw in our animation, that we saw some rectangle would be, actually let me go here, some rectangle would be created, and then it would be scaled up a bit, and another circle would be written in its middle, and then it starts to move. So let's create this thing. So let me say the first thing that I would want to do is to define another variable. I call it A2. And then I say, you most likely would want to create names that you later would remember. As an example, you might want to say rec for rectangle. But in here, intentionally, I call them A, so you would know there is nothing specific about the variable's name. So I say rectangle, just like this. Then I add this variable to play again, like everything else that you would want to be written on the screen. So I say A2, and I also add some wait at the end so that I would wait for 1 second so I could better see my result. Pay attention that we could pass some arguments like width and height to increase the length of our rectangle. But I just want to show you something else. Let's see if it is rendered. So I have the text, and after that, I have a rectangle. But if you look at the animation, before the rectangle is created in our animation, first the text would be removed. You see, let's actually go here. First, the text is removed in an animation form, and then the rectangle is created. To do that, in here, we would need to say self.play and then on right, which obviously, as the name suggests, it means that remove the text which is inside the A1 variable. And now it would be like our animation. And my advice is to speed this video up. As I said the first time, you should always speed the video up so that you don't get bored. Because getting bored is the only reason that they stop learning actually. Also, getting stuck is the other reason, but I try to explain everything clearly so that you wouldn't lose your motivation or feel the need to go somewhere else in another video to understand these animations. So next, you would need to increase the size of our rectangle, but I want to show you two things. Before we scale our rectangle up, I want to show you how you would want to create the rectangle with any size. You would do this with saying width, let's say equal to 4 units of manning. Now you would know what's 4 units of manning because I've already explained it, and height, let's say 6 units of manning. Now you already know since all the height of our screen is actually 8, so this would have a very big height. So let me press the Control S. So I wouldn't say anything actually in between from now on, so you could easily fast forward. So let's go. And in here, you see, we have a big rectangle. So now that we know how to create exactly the size of the rectangle that we want, I want to remove this so it would create a rectangle for me by default. And then I think the default size would be 3 by 2, maybe. The width would be 3 and the height would be 2. I'm not sure. So next thing you would want to do is to scale this up. So I say self.play, and then instead of right, now I want to scale it up in an animated form. So I say A2, which is my rectangle in here, and then I say animate, and then I say scale. And then I say 1.5, which means I want it to get bigger by that factor. And I press Ctrl S again. And this time I would expect my rectangle to get bigger as much as a factor of 1.5, exactly like the animation that we created. So as this is getting rendered, I would want to show you the animation. So you would see, you see it getting scaled up. So this is exactly what we expect. Now you see, this is our rectangle and it would get scaled up. So I should have added a wait of 1 second so you would better see the result. But let's say we would also want to create a circle inside it, right? So I would want to say now another variable I define, and I obviously say circle, and it would create a default circle. Obviously its place would be in the origin. Origin in here is defined at the center, exactly the center. Now I say self dot play so that the circle, the A3 variable, would also be written. I also add some wait for 1 second so the video would get a bit longer. As this is getting rendered, you would have a look at our animation to see what would be the next thing. So you see first the circle would be drawn inside the middle of the rectangle, and then it would be moved upwards and downwards and some rotation. So it has finished rendering. Now you see the rectangle and then the circle. It gets bigger, the circle, and then the video ends. But now we want to move things. You see, to move things, we use something called move to. Let me show you something. First, let's say I want to only move the rectangle. As an example, let's say, well, obviously I would need to say self.play like always, and then I say A2, which is my rectangle, then I say animate, and then I say move to, and now I need to pass it one argument. This one argument is an array. Inside array, it would take 3 arguments, which would be the x, y, and z. Now, x, y, and z would be the coordination that we want to move the center of the rectangle to. As an example, let me remove this line, the commenting, and also comment this line, render it again. So we'd see where exactly I would want the center of the rectangle to be moved to. So let's say this, no, actually it hasn't finished rendering. It is just the previous one. But as I said, I would want to see all the number plane, all the squares, because using those squares, you would exactly know where or exactly the numbers in this array have to be so that the different shapes would be moved. It's actually taking a bit longer than I thought. Maybe I should have stopped the video and then, or maybe I should have edited these things out. But as I said, you could just fast forward it. So And finally, it has finished. So you see, we have the squares. Let me have the rectangle. Let me scale it up. So you see right now, this is the center of the rectangle. Let's say I want my rectangle to be the center of it to be here. You see the mouse. So I would have the cursor. So I would have one to left, two to left, three to left, and one to up. I want the center to be moved in here, which means I need the arguments here to be minus 3, which means 3 to left, and 1 upwards. And then for the z, you would have 0, again, minus 3, 1, and 0. And at the end, I would also add some weight for 1 second. And now I would start rendering. Now, as the video is getting rendered, I wanted to explain to you something. Now, actually, it finished much faster. So right now, if you pay attention, you would have a rectangle, it would scale up, it would have a circle, and then we would have the rectangle moving in here, and you see this is its center. So maybe I should have added more weight. But you see, right now, this is our the center exactly what we wanted, but the circle hasn't moved. But if you pay attention to the animation that we have, both of them are moving at the same time. You see, actually, let me go here. Both of them are going upwards and downwards at the same time. So in order to do that, we would need to put everything inside a group so that you could treat it as the single entity. Let me actually remove the squares in here. Now, we would need to use something called V group, meaning what we would say, let me actually, come on. So we would say, I want to define another variable and let me call it G1, and I say V group, and I put A2 and A3, which means I want whatever is A2 variable, which is rectangle, and whatever is in A3 variable, which is a circle, all of them to be one single entity inside G1. Now in here, instead of saying A2, I say G1. Now, if we save this, you would expect that now both the rectangle and circle to be moved at the same time. Obviously, in our animation, we weren't doing this. We were moving upwards and downwards, and I would do it in a second. So we have the circle here. It gets bigger. We have the circle inside the rectangle, and as you see, both of them are now moved. So we would need this based on our animation. If we exactly want to implement that, you would see that it is moving upwards and downwards. By what amount? Maybe it would go 1 unit up and then 2 units down and 1 unit up again. So I would want to do this. In the Visual Studio, you could just press Shift Alt and the down arrow so that a couple of times this would be cut and pasted. Now in here, for the first one, I say I want it to be moved only in the Y direction 1 unit up, and then only in the Y direction 2 units down, and then at the end I want it to go at the center, which would be at 0. I also want to add a weight of 2. Also pay attention, you could do this much faster by providing the runtime. But let's see our result. This is the best way of creating any kind of animations, to just see the result and maybe changing them accordingly. But as I said, right now you are learning them. So let's see actually as the video is rendered. So you see it is moving 1 unit up, 2 units down. So I don't think actually this was exactly what I wanted to do. So if we look at here, it is somewhat different with what 1 unit's up, right? I stopped it. 1 unit's up. Actually, it's going more up than the 1 unit that we needed. So it looks like we have made a mistake in here. Let me actually, you see, troubleshooting and debugging is obviously, oh, you see, as I said, it's also one important part of the animation as well. That's why I'm not stopping it and editing it again. So you 1 unit up and then it goes 2 unit down and then it comes back in the middle, which means in here we should have said -2, which because in our animation it goes 1 unit up and then 2 units down. Now, I think this would do it now. If we look at the animation again, after we have circled 1 units up, 2 units down, and then it goes in the middle, and then we would have the rotations as well. You see, regarding the rotations, because I know this time I've done it right, so I want to show you the next step as well. We would have a rotation as big as pi over 2 and another rotation for the same amount. So it has finished rendering. Let me go in here, and you see we have the circle, we have 1 unit up, 2 units down, and then in the middle. As I said, you could increase this speed by providing the runtime. As an example, I could say runtime is equal to 0.5 seconds. And maybe in here also I say runtime equals to zero point 0.5 seconds. And let me this to, let's say runtime equals to, let's say 0.3 seconds. Now, as this is rendered and the next case would be created, I want to create our next section, which would be to do the rotation. So as you are seeing the animation to see this is exactly what we wanted to do, I want to create the next part, which would be to rotating or only rectangle. You see, it's faster to only rotate or rectangle as big as pi over 2. To do that, like always, we say self.play, and then we say A2 was our rectangle. You see in here, A2 is our rectangle. So I say self.play A2 dot animate dot rotate, and I want it to have a rotation as big as pi over 2. And yes, that's it. But I want to have another rotation, so I just cut paste this one more time, and I add some uh, maybe self dot wait 1 second. Also in the middle, I want to maybe have a self dot wait as big as 0.5 seconds. Now Control S, as it is finishing rendering, I want to show you the next steps. So the next step is this. You see, it would get a scale down to the down left. And then you would have other cases. So you see, you would have the scaling down and moving to the down left. So let's see the result for of the previous case. Rectangle, circle, up and down with a good speed, and then rotating once, rotating twice. So let's go for the next section, which is scaling down and moving to the down left. For this, you would say self.play like always. Now it's everything, not just the rectangle, it's all the entity, which is the G1 dot animate, and then I would say first scale. So I would say a scale maybe 0.5, and then I would want to say uh, now dot, instead of say move to, this time I would want to say to edge. Now you could do it with the move to, but I say to edge, it would be much faster. Down left. This would just move it to the down left, so you don't need to provide coordinations and points. And also, like always, I add some way to better see the result. Now, as this is rendered, let's go for the next part of the animation. Now, after that, we would have a rectangle created at the origin, moving to the top left, a square moving to the top right, creating a line, an arrow, and that's it. Yes, and then scaling it to the top right. So this has finished rendering, and let's see the result of the previous case. One rotation, two rotation, scaling down and moving to the down left. So first part has been completed. Let's go for the second part, creating a rectangle. So I just say, let's call it A5, the name of the next variable. Did I have a A4? So I had the A2. So this is the problem with naming them in this way. But let me actually call it let's call it B1 for the triangle, sorry. So I say triangle, I have created one. Again, it gets the argument to change its side, but I have the triangle and then I would want to move it. So I say self dot play B1 dot animate dot to edge to up right, as a good exercise, you could try to do these things with the move rather so that you would better understand the coordinations and then wait. So we have wait 1 second, Control S. Let's see the result. So actually, let me also create the next section. As you see the result of the previous section, I would want to create another variable. Also pay attention to the right. At the same time, maybe you could do two things. So I create a square by saying this. Actually, let me first see the result of the previous case. Multitasking was a bit hard for me. So we have rectangle. Oh no, we made a mistake. We went to the upright. In our animation, we go actually to the up left. So we create our square. We then say self dot play. Then we say b2, which is our square dot animate, and then dot to edge, and now to the up right. Also, we add some weight in here as much as 1 second. And obviously, the next part in our animation would be to create the arrow. So you would have the triangle, the square, and then you would have an arrow to be created between them. Just like the rectangle that we had all the arguments like the width and the height, the same equivalent things would be in the rectangle and the square as well. So the next thing would be to create a line. So I want to create a line in the variable called b3. You also look at the right side to get the result of the previous case. So I say line, and then, so we have this thing of the previous case, right? So let's create the line in here. Now I should specify where I want my left side of the line and right side of the line to be. And also one other thing that I want to do, if you pay attention, there is some distance between the left side of the triangle and the right side. This is called buff, which means if I say I want my buff to be as big as zero point 0.5, it means zero point 0.5 of manim units. I want to have a difference between my line and what I want to provide in the next as where exactly my line resides at. So I say I want maybe I should have first explained this actually. I want the start of my line to be in here, which means now triangle is saved in the b1 variable. So I say b1 dot get left. I want this to be the start of my line. Now I want the end of it to be at the b2, which is the square. So I say get right, which means you get the actually get the right side of the triangle. So I shouldn't say that. Have said get left. Get the right side of my triangle, it would be the start of my line. And this is the right side of the triangle. Get the left side of my square. I want this to be the other part of my line. So get the left part of it. I want this to be the other part. And also don't exactly attach them with no space. I want to have a space as big as zero point 0.5 units of manim. Then I would add a weight as big as 1 second. Press Ctrl S, and you would see the results. So if you, yes, actually it has finished rendering. So let me actually go here. So you would see them faster. So we have the rotation. Then we scale it down, move it to the top, down left. We have the rectangle, the square. Well, I didn't see the line in here. And the reason is because I haven't added it. So to add it, we say self dot play and then right and then the name of my line, which is B3. And now I press Ctrl S to save it and see the result. If you don't see the result, you could always press this button and on the name of the class, as I said, that we saw it previously, and you would see the result. So let's see this. Actually, because I pressed it, it is being rendered again. But let's go here so you will see it faster. Rectangle. Oh, come on. So I go in here, rectangle, a square, and a line. But my line doesn't have actually a good form. So let me add some arrows to the lines as well. I don't know why it's not completely straight. Maybe it's because uh, of it puts the line exactly in the middle. Now we will troubleshoot it in a moment, but let me also add something else. I want it to be an arrow. To be an arrow, I just say add and tip, and in here I want the first it shows me whether you wanted the arrow at the left side. You see in here and well, we want to have the if we look at our animations, we will see that we have the arrow at both sides rather than just one side. So if we look these shapes exactly in the Manim, we could always go to the Manim community and just have some help. But in here, I actually want to add something called uh, you see the shape of the if you look the shape of or arrows in a specific way. Actually, let me start talking and just maybe run this for 1 second to see in what way my the tip of my arrow would be shown if you have the arrow on one side, if you have it at both sides or not. So I have the triangle, I have the square. Now I have it, the arrow is in this way, you see, and the tip is like this. First, I want to have the tip at both sides. So what I would do is that I add another add tip, and then now I say also at a start, I want to have a, a tip. Now, right now I would have a tip at both sides, but if we look at our animations, the tip is in another way. You could search this on the menu to see that in order to provide that kind of tips, we would provide something called tip shape. Tip shape, you also pay attention to the right side. And then the name of it, I think, is a stiff tip, which means the shape of the tip would be what I'm showing you in my animation. So right now, before I execute this tip shape I execute this, you would see that the result is like this. So I want, we have the tip at both sides, but I want the shape of it to be changed to, as I said, a steel tip so that it would be exactly like what we saw in our animation. Also, let me make this wait for 2 seconds so that it wouldn't end the moment the video go to the ending part. So as you see the result in here, let me go here. So you will see the triangle, the square, and you will see it is actually exactly like our animation. The next part is that I make this smaller and then move it to the right side and then changing its color to yellow. So let's do that. Let's go here and exactly like we did before, which means first, we need to put all of them as one single entity. So I say G2 equal to V group, and then I add both the triangle, the square, and the line, which are saved in B1, B2, and B3 variables. And next, I would want to maybe first say G2 dot animate dot scale 0.5 dot 2h to move it to some other place to the uh, up right, and then also I want to change its color. We will change it with set color to, I think it was yellow. So I also add some self dot weight and for 1 second, for 2 seconds actually. So you see, when you understand it, it's just playing with the same names, functions, and arguments when you understand what it is about. But right now, as I said, because they are just different shapes, in the next case, we in a moment we would get to how to make tables. So I know it is just getting a bit boring maybe because we are teaching the same thing twice. So we have the rectangle, putting in group, and moving to the down left. Then we have a triangle, moving to the top left, a square, moving to the top right, and a row. And then we would make this smaller and to the right side. And this is exactly what we saw in the animation. Now, after that, we would have a table. So half of the lecture is completed. So now we would get, actually, the other half would be shorter. So we have a table, and table would have some rows. Now, the good thing that I want to teach in this section about how to create tables, in table, every row is created separately, which make things actually much easier for us. Let me explain what I mean. So we have the numbers of different players, Messi, Ronaldo, and Zlatan, which the numbers of 10, 7, and 11. So the way that we create our tables is that first we create our data. I just call it t1.data for table 1 data, any name could be. Now, you put everything that you want to be the table inside an array. Every array would be one row. So we want to create 4 rows. Let me actually look at it again. 1 row, 2 row, 3 row, 4 rows. So we would put 4 arrays in here. 1, 2, 3, and finally 4 arrays. Now in the first one, I want to have 2 columns with the names of name, not my name, and then number. In the second row, I would want to have Messi and 10. In the third row, I would want to have Ronaldo and 7. 7. Everything should be in the same format. In the fourth row, I would want to have Zlatan and 11. Actually, he had different numbers in Inter and PSG and Juventus and Barca, but let's add 11 for his number. Right now, a table wouldn't be created. In order to do that, we would create another variable. I want to call it T1 and then just say table. You see how easily it gets created, and I just provide T1 data in it so that it would be created. Then I just say self.play and then write to add it to my scene. So T1, which is where my table is saved in. Let me also add some wait as we get 2 seconds. And now let's execute it by pressing Ctrl and S. Now the next part, as it is getting rendered, the next part would be the changing the first row to name and number to its color to blue. So let's do that. So it has finished rendering. Let me actually go in here so you will see it faster here. And now the table, it's about time if we don't have any problem. Yes, this is our table. So this is our table, but the first row, we want its color to be changed to blue. So we would say, also I forgot to mention, actually the manual was created by Grant Sanderson, the creator of the 3B1B channel, 3 blue, 1 brown. So we would say we want to change the color of the first one. So we say self.play, and then actually you don't need to say self.play. I just want to change its color. So I say T1, which is my table. I say get rows, that I want to get a row. And then I want to change the color of just the first row, all columns. Now I want to set its color to what? To blue, right? That's it. 1 second, Control S. Now, next part would be after we change this, would be scale it down and move it to the down right. Let's do that. Also pay attention to the right side as it is getting created. So I would want to say self.play, then T1, then animate, then scale, and then I want it to scale it 2.5. I'm paying attention to 2 things, multitasking actually. Edge, the moment it gets to where it should be, I would show you, then down right. Yes, so you see, now the table is created and the color of name and number has been changed to blue. Now I've done this, which we have already done, a scale 2.5, then moving to the down right, and then adding as big as 2 seconds of wait. So after we do this, as this is getting rendered, we go to our animation. We first create 2 axes. Then we would have some ticks in here, maybe 4 ticks to the left, 4 right, 4 ups, 4 down. We create a sine function and then we increase its frequency. This is the last thing that we need to do to end this. Actually, no, we also have what we call indicate, which means zoom this out to say that, as an example, a lot of times you would want to create lecture and then summarize or say this. See, saying the word this doesn't work out that much in the lecture. So you just indicate like this. Okay, so this, I was creating a contradiction, I guess. So in here, we first create our axis, right? So this has finished rendering. Let's see, it's working out fine. So we have the table. We change the color of first row to blue. Then we move it to the down right. And that's it, actually. So let's go to the next part. I create another variable. I want to call it C1. I want to create axes. So it just says axes, but then I would want the range, the number of ticks in my X to be from -4 to 4. The number of my Y range, I want it to be from -4 to 4. What about its length? Now, if we look, I want to, you see, this is the units of manning. Maybe I would say 8 units of manning its width and maybe 4 units of manual speed. So I actually done it one time. I forgot what I've written. So I think it is in another file called manual1.py. I'm not sure. I'm actually creating a long lecture called pandas.py about the pandas module in Python. But say x length, I want it to, I said 8, I think, horizontally, and then y length, I want it to be, well, if all of it is 8, let me actually add 6 maybe. And then I would want to obviously add it to the right play by saying C1. So I'm not explaining these too much because you already know these things. I'm just typing them. Yes, that's it. So as this is getting rendered, we would go to the next case, which means we are showing something in here, some sine function. So actually, let me go to the end. So we would have the drawn of the axes, and yes, the axes are drawn. So next, we would want to plot the sine function on our axis, for axis that we have put in the C1 and we see in here. So we define another variable called C2, and I say I want to draw something on my axis, say in C1, I want to plot something on it in this way, and I say lambda x and then sine of x, which means I want the sine of x to be drawn on the y-axis and x obviously on the x-axis. Now we get some error in here because it says sine is not defined in here. So we need to import it from some other library called NumPy. I could just say from NumPy import everything, so we could just use the sine of x. But the convention is that we usually say we actually say that import NumPy as NP. And then in here, we just say np.sine of x. So now it is defined, but then I need to also create this plot. So I say self.play, and then I say create C2, and maybe add some 2 seconds of wait, and press Control S again so that my plot would be drawn. So we have this. Actually, let me have a look at Jimmy. So Jimmy, so you see we have our axis and then we have our plot, the sine function, which is drawn like this. But in our animation, after the sine function, as I said, it gets updated. Now, one thing that I wanted to show you is that we could press Shift and Alt and then down arrow. And then in here, I say 2 times X to increase the frequency. And then in here, I say self dot play, and then I say use something else called transform. Now this transform, I say that I want to the C2 variable, which is the sine function, to be changed to the C3 variable, which is sine of 2x function. So I say C3 and then add another amount of weight and then press Ctrl S. Now let's see the result. So I would expect that the sine function here, the sine of x, to be transferred to the transformed to the sine of 2x. It is actually a useful function transform. You see, this is the sine of x, and then it is transformed to the sine of 2x. Now, you might guess that the frequency of our animation is actually bigger than that. So I could just add some other variables in here and then transform them until I get to that. But I want to show you something else. So let me comment this line out. I want to comment the transfer function. And what I want to do is to use something called the value tracker. So in here, I define a frequency in here. Now, you will get what I mean once I type these things out. So I type something called value tracker when we want to keep updating something and make it automatically to get bigger. We call something called value tracker. And in here, I just put this frequency dot get value and then times this, which means that I want whatever value is in the value tracker to be replaced in here. Now, right now, you might say, well, it's just equal to 1. So what I would want to do is now to say that self dot play, and then I want to say this frequency that we have created this, I want this to animate this and then set the value equal to 5. And then in here, I would want to say always, something called always. Now, I explain in a moment that what these things are, and then I say lambda, and then I close the parentheses. Now, in this method, what I have said is this, that I want something to keep updating. So I type always retro. So this should be lambda, and then this is the convention. So I say always, you see, if I want to explain more, I have to get deeper in the Python, which would be, as I said, I have created actually other courses on the same channel that you could just check them out one by one to understand more about the different functions if you want. But right now, I don't want to go deeper. What I want to do is to just explain what we have done in here. I have created something called value tracker and then set this value to 5 and put this inside the sine function. Now then I want to say that I want the plot to always get updated based on the value of the frequency that we have set 5 in here. So now we would have the sine of x, then 2x and 3x until we get the value that we have put in the set value of the frequency. This is called value tracker and it is used obviously in other places, and you could guess how by now that I have written them in here. But as I said, we could always have the transfer function to take care of things for us. Let's see if we get an error in here. I hope we wouldn't actually. So and most likely when you are typing things, you would get one or two errors that you would need to troubleshoot. In case you have seen me that we haven't gotten any error, actually I got some error. I had stopped the video and then I did it. The next of the rest of the errors that you have seen, we have troubleshooted them as part of the video. But and as some part I actually uh, left editing the video, left the video, and then when I got back, I saw the error, so I stopped the video and I record it again. So don't lose motivation if you get errors. Everyone gets it. So we have seen the table in here, and then we would have our axes, then we would have the sine, and now, yes, that's it. We have the our animation completely. The only thing that is remaining is that we use something called indicate to at the end summarize things that hey, we have this one, and so on. So let's go as the last part to use something called indicate. So I just say self dot play and something called indicate, and then I put everything that I have created. So the first one was G1. So I say I want G1 to be scaled up as much as 1.5, and I want this color to be changed to green or yellow. It was, let me say green, and then I press uh, Shift Alt and the down arrow to copy paste these things. So G1 was the rectangle and the circle, G2 was this one, and this was T1, and this is C2. I could put C1 and C2 so that everything would also be scaled up and down. So let me also say G2 here, and then T1, which was the table, and also I say Shift Alt down, and then in here I would say, let's say C2, and at the end I would want to add some weight, self dot weight 1 second, self dot weight 1 second, self dot wait 1 second, and at the end self dot wait another, actually 2 seconds or 3 seconds, and then I press Ctrl S, and hopefully we wouldn't get an error. So let's see. Let's see if we would get an error. So as it is getting rendered, I wanted to one more time mention that this library was created by Grant Sanderson, the creator of the Three Blue, One Brown channel about the mathematics. You have most likely heard of him, otherwise you wouldn't have searched the YouTube creating animations using Manium to come here in the first place. So we have the rectangle. It is moved a bit, rotating a couple of times. It would be moved down left. You would have the rectangle. You would have the square. We would have an arrow. Then all of it would get scaled down to the top right. You would have a table about the code and some other. You would get a scale down to the down right. You would have an axis. We would have the sine function, and then it would get updated, and then you would have the indicating of all of them. As they are getting indicated, the change would be color. The color would be changed to the green, and that's it. It would wait until the end of the animation, and this was all the animation that we created. You see, from now on, you could implement anything that you want, because not only you could create text, you could create every different shape, you could create table, graphs, plots, and different things. There was one other topic that I wanted to teach, which I think maybe we created in another lecture, and that's how to draw any shape. Any shape, I mean, some shape which is not well defined. In that case, we would need to understand how to create dots. In fact, I have worked on it. We create different dots, and then we follow a certain path with those dots to create the different shapes that, as I said. But in case you like this, you let me know, and I would be creating other lectures about Manic. Even though, as I said, the purpose of this was so that you could create more lectures on your own. So that's it.